On January 15th, 1919, the residents of Boston's North End heard what sounded like heavy machine gun fire. But it wasn't a weapon. It was the sound of thousands of iron rivets simultaneously snapping off a 50-foot-tall storage tank. Inside that tank was 2.3 million gallons of raw molasses. When the tank burst, it didn't just spill, it exploded. A 50-foot-high wave of pitch-black liquid blotted out the midday sun. It sounds like a bizarre cartoon gag, but the coroner reports tell a completely different story. This was an industrial massacre, and I vouch for every word. At 35 miles per hour, the molasses carried the kinetic force of a tsunami. It hit with enough violence to completely snap the steel girders of the local elevated railway, throwing a train car off the tracks. Buildings were swept off their foundations and instantly crushed into kindling. But the true horror wasn't the impact, it was the aftermath. As the wave settled, the frigid January air rapidly cooled the syrup. It thickened, acting exactly like liquid concrete. The harder the victims fought to breathe and escape, the deeper they sank into the black void. Rescue workers rushed into the disaster zone, but they found themselves glued to the streets. They had to cut victims out of their own clothes just to pull them from the sludge. Horses, dogs, and men were trapped like insects in amber. 21 people suffocated to death in the streets of Boston that day. 150 others were severely injured. The rescue effort took days, and the cleanup took months. The harbor itself ran brown until the summer. The parent company, United States Industrial Alcohol, refused to take the blame. They immediately claimed the tank had been targeted and blown up by anarchists. But the ensuing investigation unsealed a terrifying corporate cover-up. The court transcripts revealed the tank had been structurally doomed from the start. It groaned when filled, and it leaked so badly that local children used to scrape the sides for sweet treats. The company's solution? They painted the massive iron tank brown so the dark leaks would be harder to see. It took 119 lawsuits to force the corporation to pay for the lives they buried. To this day, locals claim you can still smell the rotting syrup on hot summer days. I vouch for every word. The vault is deep and the records only get stranger from here. Please subscribe to unseal the next archive. Until next time, keep searching.